Today, I have Chase Berger and Eddie Feidt. Chase and I go back, believe it or not, I met you 15 years ago, if you think about that.
You did the math beforehand?
I did the math beforehand. So 15 years ago, back from when we worked at Carrabba's, pasta, bartending, car side. Obviously, you guys were younger than me. That's when I met Mary. That's when I met Pam. That's when we met a whole bunch of people. Did you test beer when you were bartending too?
Yeah.
By the way?
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I
Yeah,
tested it all.
I had to disclose that in my job application.
Oh, that you were.
Yeah, they asked if you ever consume alcohol at work. I'm like, yes. I got a bunch of wide eyes. Like, what do you mean?
Oh, you're saying like you officially. I tested beer every day.
What?
Behind that bar. I didn't tell Vince when he was there. Sorry, Vince, I didn't tell you. But anyways, so since then, he's built a career with the Pinellas County Sheriffs, which is super awesome. He popped up on the most famous person I've had on the episode. He was on an episode of Cops in 2017, episode 29. Oh, no, season 29, episode 32. Check that out.
Whoa. Season 30, episode 8.
It said 2932 online. Look, I don't know.
They're deleting episodes.
It's the Google. What do you want from me? So he started 2 businesses. A licensed home inspection, which is currently on the back burner because he started a second business with his wife, Kayla, Nest Ultrasound, which is about 2 minutes, not even this way, in this plaza. They're also a client, which is rad. And he's backing Kayla and doing all that kind of great stuff, which is awesome. So it's Nest Ultrasound here in Trinity. And then there's Eddie, who I met 2, maybe 3 years ago. Do you remember when we first met?
It had to be at somebody's house, probably Chase's.
No, it was at Mitch's house.
Okay.
But in the short time that I've known you, I feel like we've become better friends than I've known Mitch longer, and I feel like we're better friends than I am with Mitch, right? Yeah. And not because Mitch isn't cool. This is my first dunk. Mitch is amazing,
right?
But there's something like as soon as we met, the first time I met you, you and Kayla had your compound boats out in the back of Mitch's yard, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna walk over here and just talk to it.
Yeah.
This seems interesting.
Yeah.
That's not something you see every day. And just like immediately, I was like, oh, this dude's like, it just immediately was like, like you're a cool dude. It was respect. It was red. He's a detective. He's a pig farmer. Is that the proper way to say it? You're a pig farmer?
Yeah.
You're not a hogger?
Yeah, you could say that.
Well, how do you like it to be preferred?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay,
Everybody says pig farmer.
Okay, so he's a pig farmer, which literally, and we'll get into it, but as I understand it, he raises pigs and then he processes pigs, his own pigs. So holler if you need some pig. And also, he's the guy behind, let me see one of these koozies. Well, I got this thing too. But he's the guy behind Copper Tail Woodworks. He makes really awesome cutting boards. He makes custom furniture. He made these sick-ass coasters. He only gave me 2. I just said to Kayla on Instagram, just have him bring 2 more. They're pretty badass. I like them. I'm not going to point out that one, but the other one's really, really cool.
User error.
I messed that one up. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you being here today. And thanks. Yeah, I know it's been a while.
Thanks for having us.
The last time we were here, I actually wasn't recording any audio. I don't know if I told you that. I just needed the video. So even though it's going to feel like we've had this conversation already. But
Actually, I don't think you did tell us that because we had no headphones on.
Well, I'm telling you now.
Which is a nice touch.
Yeah. The headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah, because now you don't feel like you're yelling.
It does kind of feel weird that I can hear myself.
Yeah. Well, you can control.
This one right here?
Yeah, one of those. I don't know which one's which. I think 4 is me, or 5. Yeah, 4 is me. I think 2 is you, and 1 is Edward. But it could be the other way. Anyways, yeah. So going back, Chase, 15 years, man. I literally did the math, and I was like, holy crap, that's a long time. Did you know then that you wanted to be a cop? Did you see it? Did you envision anything that you're doing now then?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so walk me through it.
I don't think so. I think when we met, I was still in college, but I was going for criminal justice, so I knew I still wanted to explore the law enforcement background or a pathway. But I mean, obviously it took a long time to get where I am now from there. But I knew, like, in the back of my head, I was like, okay, I'll finish college, kind of see where I'm at, and then is police academy an option, or is anybody going to be hiring at the time? I heard nothing but, it's really hard to get a job. People aren't hiring. It's very competitive, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, I don't know, we'll just feel it out.
Was anyone in your family in law enforcement?
No, I'm the first.
Oh, wow.
The closest thing that we had is...
someone got arrested. No. That's my family.
My dad was a private investigator.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so he specialized in insurance fraud, which was really fun growing up because he'd always take me on surveillance with him. So because having a kid is very... not assuming, right?
Everybody ignores a kid.
Yeah, so we'd be like, I remember we'd be in like restaurants and then back, in the, I guess, early 2000s, late 90s, there wasn't all the digital cameras and hidden stuff and things that were readily available. So I remember he had a big video camera like in a duffel bag, and we put it on the table, and he'd be filming a guy doing a side job, behind the bar or wherever when he's supposed to be not working. Collecting workers' comp.
Is that considered? It feels kind of dangerous. I mean, insurance fraud, I guess, isn't like as gangster as it might sound, maybe.
Yeah,
right?
well, you say insurance fraud, but it's all workers' comp.
Oh, it's all workers'
so
comp.
you dealt with like the full gamut of people doing whatever, but
doing fraud,
doing
doing crimes.
Yeah, I mean, I remember he stories of him like crawling in the woods just to get video of people doing like the craziest stuff.
It seems kind of cool, like a cool thing. So then did that spark it, or was just it's a coincidence that your dad was a PI and then you got into?
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the question I never really had a really good answer for. Is like, why do you want to be a cop? And I think the best, I guess, explanation I have is I grew up playing cops and robbers, and I never really kind of grew out of it. I heard somebody use that analogy once before, and it kind of stuck. I was like, it's probably the best, analogy that I have. I don't really have a good reason for it. I think as I've progressed through my career, I've found things that have inspired me, that I've been passionate about, that I didn't know were aspect of law enforcement in the beginning. That's kind of kept me going and kept me driven. But at the very beginning, I was like, just sounds like a really fun thing to do is, be in a police car and drive around and solve problems and figure things out and be curious. Like, it just seemed like very attractive to me at the time.
Yeah, it's cool. As an adult, love cops. Rewind 25 years ago, because I was up to shit. I was smoking weed and doing dumb stuff, right? So you grew up going, oh, fuck the police, or the fuzz, or there's 5-0. You say all these things, but now again, as an adult, every time I see it, like I'm teaching my kids, like even when we go to a Lightning game or wherever the hell we go, and I see a cop, if we're outside, I walk up like, hey, dude, thanks for your service. By the way, thank you guys for your service, because I appreciate what it is now they do for our community, right? But again, going back then, it was kind of like, these guys just want to put me in jail because I'm up to some shit. But I think it's cool. Did at one point somebody told me, and this could be a total rumor, is that back in the Carrabba's days, FBI something was that ever on the table for you, or did you ever tell anybody that by accident?
No,
because somebody told me that on purpose.
No, I don't think I had my eyes set directly on a specific agency. I think maybe in conversation, a federal agency would have been attractive, but finishing school and leaning towards law enforcement, you're looking at this wide range of opportunity and different pathways that you can go down. So while FBI wasn't directly on, my vision for what my career wanted to be.
It was on your vision board and your...
Yeah, I mean, I did consider a lot of, federal agencies and where did I want to end up if I was going to take this step. So.
Yeah. And what about you? So if ChatGPT did its job right, which sometimes it doesn't, it sounds like you guys started around the same time, year-wise.
I think within 6 months.
Yeah,
the
same
only
year.
difference is I was coming from somewhere else,
Right.
and you were starting like the academy.
Yeah.
Got it. So
Because I had worked somewhere else prior too, so I'd left to go work down there.
run me through it. Growing up was
Quick disclosure: none
Sure.
of our opinions of those of our employer, by the way.
Right,
So-
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll put that down there at the bottom.
Yeah, not that there's
We're
going to
just
be much of those.
we're friends first.
Yeah,
Business owners second. Their cops last.
Yeah.
I would love to do a ride along. So so if I looked online, it sounded 2017, 2014?
2014.
2014. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So was your family law enforcement?
Yeah, mine's
Okay.
like the exact opposite. So my mom and my stepdad and stepbrother all work in law enforcement. So when I grew up in that life, surrounded by it. When I became,
It's the family biz.
yeah, my grandpa was a cop up north for a handful of years. My mom's been doing it now. She's actually getting ready to retire. I think in less than 4 weeks.
Dang. When you say up North Florida,
No, Jersey.
Jersey.
New
Okay, got
yeah.
it. So way north.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, when I got close to 18, I had a decision to make, what I want to do. And there was two things on the table. I either was going to go into law enforcement or I was kind of dancing with the idea of going into the military in some way. My biological dad, who lives out of state, he was career military. So I knew it was going to be one of those two routes that I took. And at the time, the retirement plan for law enforcement had just changed prior to me getting in to where you had to do 30 years to retire with full benefit. So I figured
Which
might as well
before it was what?
25.
Okay, so
and
they
it's
added 5 years.
since switched back. But at that time, it's 30. So I figured I might as well get this
You
ball
gotta go
rolling now.
Wait, so when they switch policies like that, you guys are you guys adopt the new policy.
Yeah,
It's not
so
like,
we-
sorry, you're 30 years.
Yeah.
It was they essentially shaved 5 years off our career.
Oh, that's awesome.
But if it changes for the worse, you're grandfathered into the better. But if it changes for the better,
That's cool.
everybody can get it.
Yeah, it's cool that they did. Sorry, continue.
So I started 18, went to the police academy, and then I was the youngest guy in my class. I remember everybody was saying, like, man, you're probably not going to get a job anywhere, which could have been the case, but I figured I'm going to try and I'm going to get this started. And then when I finished the academy, I had a few of those conversations with some agencies trying to get hired on, and they just said, honestly, a little young, we'd like you to be at least 21. And so I made the decision to go work on the corrections side for a little bit in the jails, which I'm grateful I did because you learn so much working in the jail that benefits you and gets you prepared to go work out on the street.
Yeah, work in a community.
In the jail, you don't have all the cool tools and stuff that you have out on the road, so you really got to learn how to talk to people and talk stuff down and de-escalate and all that
Sure.
stuff and
Sure.
and whatnot. So started.
Yeah,
in
don't
the
teach a
jail.
lot of driving when you're in
No,
the correctional.
no.
Sure.
Not a lot of shooting either.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
but no, so I'm grateful I did that. And then when the time came, I felt like I did as long as I wanted to do there. I made the decision to try to go elsewhere, and that's where I ended up down south in Pinellas and linked up with Chase, and the rest is history.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's a crazy, not crazy in a bad way, but it's definitely an interesting career path, right? Especially now, like when you mentioned being a kid, playing cops and robbers, your dad being a PI, or even with your family being active. Times have so much changed, technologies change, information's changed, and so I imagine that doing that now versus what you thought maybe when you started has definitely evolved and changed. Maybe for the better, maybe for the good. I don't know, but I can imagine it being super difficult. Either way, thank you guys for your service. So here's what's crazy. Did your parents have side hustles growing up? Or was it just the one job? They came home,
No,
kicked
they
the
did.
dog.
They did when I was younger.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think prior to me actually even being born, they always talked about how my dad had this ice cream shop in Jacksonville. And to me, that just sounded like very interesting. Like,
Sure.
well, what happened? And I think they actually lost it to a fire. It's probably more to that story, but that's the gist of it. They lost it to a
Ice
fire.
cream caught
And
on fire.
It melted.
Yeah,
It melted.
right.
Yeah,
No,
the business melted.
electrical fire.
And then he becomes a fraud investigator.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. The plot thickens. Yeah. That's a bummer,
So,
though.
yeah,
That's interesting.
They did that. That was like probably the biggest, most official thing they did. But yeah, other than that, just strict W-2 work.
Yeah.
For both my parents.
Yeah. Like, and what about your parents? Did your parents side hustle at all?
Not that I remember, at least not since getting into law enforcement. The closest side hustle, my stepdad, when he got close to the end of his career, he actually started becoming a pastor. And there was a time where he knew he was getting ready to retire, and the pastor of the church that we were attending at the time had pulled him aside and said, hey, I'm getting close to my end with this church. And I think he was in his upper 80s at the time. And he had said, God's speaking on me that you're the one to pick this up and take it.
Oh, that's heavy.
And he goes, I'm still working in law enforcement full time.
Yeah.
Like I'm off every other Sunday I can be here. But there was some Sundays I remember where he go to work 6 a.m. He would come home for his lunch break, quick change into a suit. We would haul down to the church. He would give the sermon. He would quick haul back, get back in a uniform, and then go to work. And obviously his lunch break might have carried over a little bit, but he had been a cop for 30 plus years, so nobody was
Had
really
a little bit
gonna-
of grace. Yeah.
But he only did that for a little while before he said it's time to hang it up and focus on being a pastor full time. But I mean, as far as that's as close as of a side hustle that I remember, if you even want to consider that one.
Yeah. No, it counts. Yeah, because a bunch of people have hobbies, but I think the side hustle, it feels like everyone I meet now has side hustles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, whether it's making the money, it's their main gig, or it can't be their main gig; it's a side hustle. But whether it's making the money or not is the thing. And this is my side hustle, right? So like I market during the day, and I come here. It's still marketing adjacent, so
Right.
it's kind of related, and I try to tie them together, but it's a whole friggin' thing, Talk to me about that. So you're a cop, which sounds like you guys are both cops. It sounds like a really hard job, and then you're like, nah. I want more. I'm not tired enough.
It's not enough stress.
Yeah, walk me through. I know what it is for me. Walk me through the decision to start the first business, the inspection.
I think it honestly started during shift work, working 12-hour shifts, which can be brutal, but it also pros and cons. So where you're working a lot, you're also have a lot of time off. So I'm thinking, what can I do with my time? Like I have, and plus it was before kids, obviously married, got a house, but I was like, I've got, 2, 3, 4 days off sometimes during the week. Like what could I be doing more to make money?
Sure.
And then I just started thinking about like what fits like with what I like to do, what's viable, what are options. So just that's where I kind of snowballed into like research and trying different things. And
so for you, so not to interrupt, but for you, it was a financial. It was like, hey, sure, I'm doing okay as a cop. I'm willing, young, and able. I still have my bones still work. Nothing hurts. My lower back doesn't hurt yet. Like, what can I do to earn extra income?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a passion.
No, I mean, I could have went golfing every day. I
Sure.
could have went fishing every day. Like, I could have been working in the garage and doing something that was fun. But I was like, no, what can I do that's making money?
Yeah, because
like,
you do work. You're a woodworker, a woodsmith as well.
I work the wood.
Yeah, you work the wood. I remember when we first started hanging out outside of Carrabba's, right? When Pam and I first started dating, like I want to say it was Mary Mitch's. One of their first tables was really badass that you had made. Didn't you make their table?
I think I may have helped Mitchell with that one.
And then the first time I went over to your house, your first house here in Pasco.
Yep.
Your garage, you had a lathe. It was the first time I ever seen someone. I was like, oh my god! Like, and you had like all. Now I know you have a whole shop, and we're gonna get there because your shit's like. I'm like, I was pumped when I got one of those things like a router. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be able to like put cool edges on shit.
Routers are pretty.
No, but it was a handheld Ryobi one. No.
Still, even just having a router though, that's pretty.
I put some
pretty
shelves.
versatile.
Yeah, if you go into my house, that little quarter wall that we have, like that whole piece of wood. I bought a piece of butcher block. I cut it and routed it and
You built your pantry doors, didn't you?
I built the pantry doors, but I didn't use the router for that. But my point is that like when I first went in your garage, I remember being like, there was no car in there. There was just like this dope ass woodworking station. I was like, shit. I'm surprised you didn't go that route. Is my point.
I tried for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then I actually commissioned a few projects, made good money from them. I was miserable when I was building this stuff though.
Yeah.
Because like the stuff that I build, and I still even have in my house today, the furniture, like the dressers that I have, or our dining room table that we have, I built. Those were projects that I wanted in my home that I was passionate about.
Sure.
And then when I started commissioning projects for other people, and like they started sending me stuff like, this is what I want,
like,
and I'm like, okay, this could be fun. Then I'm building, and I'm like,
This sucks.
sucks. Like,
Right.
I don't like your taste.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why probably
I had no fun doing it.
Yeah, I imagine that's why you stick to certain. You don't do just anything. You have a set list of items that you like to make. You can make, and that I imagine.
Yeah, I'll do. I mean, I'm working on one right now, like a custom like project that someone sent. They send me a picture, and it's someone I know, and they send a picture and say, "Can you make this?" And
I think I did that to you.
well, yeah, you did.
I'm one of those guys. Like,
right.
I want this. You're like,
For the longest
fuck outta here.
time when they would ask that, I'd be afraid to say no.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make it seem like I don't have the ability, but it's maybe I just don't want to. And
Yeah.
I don't want to tell a friend or even, a stranger who either it's word of mouth is most of my business right now. So if it's someone reaching out to me, it's through someone that, we both know. And I don't want to just say like, yeah, no, I just don't want to do that.
Sure.
So I got into a little period of time where I'd kind of like upsell it, be like, yeah, I can do that, but it's going to cost you like $800. They're like, well, I can get it at this IKEA for $250. I'm like, you might as well just do that.
Wood's also very expensive. By the way.
Yeah.
People don't realize.
Yeah,
Then it started getting to the point where I would do that. They would send me a picture.
Noted.
They would send me a picture, and I'd be like, yeah, I could do that. It's going to cost you about $800, and they're like, well, okay, cool, yeah, no problem. And then I'm like, oh crap,
Shit.
and now I got to figure it out.
I meant $900.
Yeah, now I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it. I like the kind of the challenge of it. The problem I run into nowadays, it's gotten big, is they'll send me a picture that they think's real, but it's actually some AI picture that's
like
worst.
not possible to
Not
make.
even able to be made.
I'm like, do you see this angle or like the physics of this? Like, if I make this in real life, it's not going to stand. I was like, you grab some computer image. Yeah, it looks cool. I can make you something relative to it. I was like, but it's not going to be that exact thing.
Right.
And so that's kind of a struggle right now, but keeps me busy.
Or they send you some cutting board. Can you make this? And you're like, oh yeah, it's $200. You say why? Or like, okay, well, it got walnut and curly maple. It's how much a board foot? It's not your.
You ready for another one?
Your pine from Home Depot.
You got a beer, your man a beer. So Yeah, I imagine that's frustrating. I get different but the same. I get a lot of people asking me for like, can you do this? Actually, the animation is a perfect example.
Yeah.
So I know I'm not an animator, but I know animators. A lot of what I do too, if I'm being completely honest, outside of like the running ads, some small design stuff, anything creative or production, I can definitely crush at, making ads, content, etc. I act as like a liaison. And one thing I'm actually trying to get better about is like I don't upcharge. So for example, like that animation, I knew a guy that could do it, right? And I was just like, hey, can you? He owed me a favor, and I didn't need any animation. I had somebody else that I was actually commissioning for stuff, and I was like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Can you do this? It's for a buddy. And he was just like, yeah. He's like, when do you need it? I was like, no rush, whenever we get it. And those are the best jobs because that's the other thing that when somebody commissions you for work and they're like, oh, hey, everything's on fire. Oh, I like it by like next weekend. It's like, go eat a dick. You're never going to definitely go to IKEA. You're never going to get this shit by next weekend. Yeah. Because about wood, and again, I'll let you guys speak to it. Mostly both of you guys. You guys are both wood professionals. But like, I didn't realize until probably this project, building this out, that like, shit at Home Depot and Lowe's is like, you gotta like, every piece of wood. So even all these little like things, like every single one was hand picked. I had gloves on because I was getting splinters the first time. I was like, fuck. And like, it takes a long ass time to find the right kind of wood that has like some character to it, right? It isn't boring.
That's why Eddie's got $15,000 for the tools just to make it straight again before he even starts working.
And that's the other
you'll
part.
do that?
Oh yeah, I can flatten, straighten. So, and that's the other thing that people don't take into account there's a guy on social media who posted this video where he, a stage skit where he was, taking a job for a commission, and he goes, yep, I can build that, and it's going to be, whatever it is, $2,000. And they're like, $2,000, the wood's only this and that. And he's like, yeah. And then he tours around his shop. He goes, but this machine to do this is $2,500. This table saw over here is $1,800. Right. This joiner over here is another $3,000, whatever it is. So all said and done into your shop, you can have $15,000 to $20,000 worth of stuff easily to do that job. Yeah. And people don't think of that part of it.
Yeah, there's that.
Much.
Yeah, for sure. There's that story about an electrician, the CEO of this big ass company. You guys have probably heard the story, but the CEO of this big ass company, he's doing some stuff. He has this big warehouse. They're producing a bunch of product or whatever, and the power goes out. So they call an electrician. The electrician comes up and he looks at the job. He figures it out, and he's done in like 8 or 10 minutes. And he hands the CEO a bill, and the bill's like 20 G's, And he goes, $20,000. You were here for 10 minutes, and he goes, right. And he goes, I need this itemized. Like, I can't believe this is $20,000. He goes, okay. He goes, 6 minutes figuring out which switch, finding the switch, and then 3 minutes turning the switch on, and then that was like $8. And he was like, the other $19,992 was knowing which switch to fucking turn on, right? That's that's what the money's for, is the experience. A lot of people give away a lot of shit for free. I get it, especially as a small business owner, and I think that's what you're getting at, because I give tons of shit out, or not for free, but like I do a bunch of add-ons for sure, and there's a couple reasons. Friends and family discounts a big thing too. You guys are definitely that, right, for sure, and happy to do it. And then there's sometimes too when you're first starting out, you're just so hungry for the yes, right? I'm just happy I'm fucking making $1. That you undervalue the service, the time it's going to take. You're not really sure, and it's not until you really kind of get into your groove that you go, oh shit, it actually takes this long to do it, and I'm actually not making money because material costs now especially are X, right? So you got to kind of factor all those things in. And what I found too is I tried selling services at like this amount, and I wasn't getting a lot of hits. And again, because I was undervaluing it, because I just wanted the yes. As soon as I was like properly sat down and was like, well, the time it takes, what my time's worth, what it actually takes to do it without gouging, and then found out that number's this, and then started advertising as that or marking things as that, dude. Because a lot of people see like if it's cheap, then it's not valuable,
They
right?
skip right past
They
it,
skip you right past you, right? If it's too much, you don't want to bid yourself, right? So if it's too much, so it's finding that. Are you getting paid? Is it equal to the value of whatever your value set, right? All those things matter in a business. I'm going to so talk to me about how did you get into what you chose inspection because
Home inspections.
Home inspections, yeah.
So the time I chose home inspections was so go back to the purchase of my first house. So I bought my first house.
So you bought that house
in 2018, 2017, 2016. It was 2016.
That makes
December
sense.
of 2016, I think.
and that's the one right up this
It was the one, Port Richey.
Port
Yeah,
Richey.
yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So before I bought that house, I had contracts on 3 other houses. So the realtor that I was dealing with, phenomenal guy, family friend, wasn't his fault. Numerous reasons why the deals fell through, but my issue with it was I had paid for an inspection and I had paid for the appraisal before the deal fell through on the seller's side. So I'm like, I've paid $1,500 in inspections before I even got a contract on the house that I ended up buying, and I'm like, there's a lot of money in this game, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I've forked over $1,500. I paid $500 a piece for these, relatively small houses. I didn't know what was involved and what went into it, but it just kind of like light bulb went off. I'm like, these are kind of like, average Joe guys showing up to do these inspections with not a whole lot of equipment, and here I am cutting them a check for $500 for 2 hours of their work.
Right. And it hurts too early on. $500. Well, even right now, $500 is a lot of money. But way back then, $500 is a shit ton of money.
Yeah, especially
That
when you're young, just
Yeah.
trying to like get into something,
Yeah,
right?
for
so
sure.
you're dealing with the stress
Yeah.
of one being a first time home buyer, and
Yeah.
then like this repetitive thing. I was in this like loop
Yeah.
of like, am I ever going to get through this, or am I
Yeah.
just the guy that is just
fucking
going to
stressful,
perpetually
yeah.
spend all this money until I
Just
have
funding
none
all
left?
these inspectors. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I get to the 4th one, ended up going through, everything was great. I'd actually use the same inspection company each time because I thought they did, from what I could see, I thought they did pretty good work. They're really easy to deal with, very nice. Then when I got to the sale of that house and the purchase of our current home back in 2021, actually, used the same company, went right back to them, returned customer because I'd given enough of my money. What's another $500? And this kid showed up. He was very nice, but now I'm watching him. Like, what am I actually paying for?
Yeah.
I want
What
to
is
know.
this job?
What's going on here? Like, and it wasn't so much
It's a
like
$500 piece of paper.
yeah, it wasn't so much like I want to know what you do so I can do it. It was
Right.
like, I'm very handy. Like we talked about the whole woodworking thing. I always try to complete my own projects. I don't like to pay somebody to do anything.
Sure.
I'm like a YouTube hero. If I can't figure it out, I'm straight to YouTube or now ChatGPT to try to figure it out.
All
Right.
this shit. Yeah.
I'm not going to pay somebody to do something that I think I can do myself.
Yeah.
So I'm just watching. I'm like, what am I actually paying you for? Like, I want to know, right? So I was watching him. Like, I wasn't, hovering over his shoulder, but I was just seeing what he was doing. And at the end of it, he gives his report, and I'm like, okay, like, that's it. That's. I mean, he did good. He did exactly what he needed to. But
Like,
I'm
how
like,
long was he there for?
hour and a half, maybe.
That's a pretty big house.
Yeah.
Hour and a half doesn't seem quite right.
With the with the pool.
That's solid though. How much of that money goes to him though? How much was he?
He was the company that I used was a franchise company, so it was
Sure.
a pretty predominant one that's around the area. So he was a employee of that company.
Got it.
So what he was being, I don't know if he's salary or
Contract,
I don't know
subcontract,
how they
who
pay
knows,
him, but
yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, owner operator, all of this money would be mine. Aside from my overhead, which how much could that be? I didn't know at the time.
Yeah, $500 in an hour and a half is
Yeah.
not a bad gig.
So I'm talking to Kayla. I'm like, this could be it, right? This could be something that I could definitely see myself doing this. I think I could be successful doing this.
Right.
And then I start, really delving into, what it takes to be a business owner. And it's mostly just research. Like, not that I had any clue, but everything that I could tell and everybody that I talked to with just hiring people in general was like, people don't show up, people don't answer their phone, they do shitty work.
That's fucking
all the
every
basic-
industry, by the way.
yeah, all the
right
stuff
now.
you hear all the
Jeez.
time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't do that. You know what I mean? And I had this record of success with my W-2, and I'm like, I think I'm pretty good at that.
Right.
Like, I can document stuff pretty well. I was
Right.
like, I think I can maybe do this.
Right.
So I kicked it around. And I told Kayla, I was like, I think it's going to take about this much for me to get started. Like, here's what I'm thinking it's going to be. And we had talked about it, and then I kind of like went back and forth with it. I think at one point, I was like, well, maybe real estate is the way to go, because a lot of people that I work with, they're real estate agents on the side. And I was like, maybe that's the avenue that I need to go down. I can kind of be my own boss. I can work under a broker, or I can get part of a group, or whatever the case may be. And maybe that's how I can make money. So I actually signed up for a real estate course. I was doing that online. And it was a snooze fest. Like I hated it. I couldn't
Not
do
for
it,
me.
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't
Crazy.
know. I was like, I'm gonna look more into this home inspection thing.
Yeah.
So finally I committed. I told Kayla, I said, hey, I found this course. Here's all the stuff. Like I had it all mapped out, right?
Sure.
'Cause she's the frugal one. So if I tell her I'm spending $1,000 on something, I gotta.
You don't have the, is your wife the same way?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, my wife.
Yeah.
I think that's a good wife.
It's not so much permission as much as it is like I need like a good explanation
Sure,
as
right.
to what
For
we're
sure.
doing.
Yeah,
here,
for
right?
sure. Yeah.
And she told me, she was straight up, she held me accountable. She goes, if you do this, you're going to do it.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then that very small comment in my
Yeah.
head, I'm thinking it was simple, but
Shit, yeah.
that stayed with me.
yeah.
I'm like,
she ninja'd you, dude.
I'm not gonna let her down, right? I'm gonna stick
I'm
with
doing
it.
this
Yeah.
just to prove that I can. Right, for sure.
So it took
Good
me.
job, Kayla.
Yeah, right. It took me, I think, I don't know, probably 9 to 12 months to get the whole course done. It was self-paced,
Sure.
online.
Because again, you're working full time.
working.
Yeah.
We-
and you said 12, so that's 3 days. No, 4 days.
For what?
Your regular job, you're working 12
Well, at
hours.
the time, so and we'll go back.
sure.
So at the time, shift work, the spark kind of gets, going like, I got time to do something else.
Right.
And then we're talking now, 5 or 6 years
So-
later,
yeah.
right? So at the time now I'm on 10-hour shifts, still have 3 days off during the week.
Yeah.
Right? At the
A lot you
time.
can do with 3 days.
What's that?
So there's a shit ton you can do with 3 days.
Yeah, no, really,
that's a
right.
lot you could do with 3 days.
And we had Rogan at the time, so my first son, or my only son, but my first kid, he was in daycare full time. So I was like, I have at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday to schedule stuff. I can work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even if I do a couple in the mornings, right? It's viable. We can make at least the schedule work.
Sure.
So did the online course, did all the testing, did the state test. That's actually proctored in person. Went to that, passed it. And once
Is that what proctored means?
proctored means like in person?
In person? There's a proctor.
There's staff there to make sure that
Fucking
you're
learned
not.
something. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, continue.
right,
Sorry.
yeah, so-
on with the board, Phil.
Did that, got the license, filed all the paperwork with the state and DVPR, and got insurance. Started researching like some software to use, and got all that figured out. And then I started, going through, what I got to do to create a business and a brand and this, that, and the other. Bounced around a few name ideas. Ended on Landfall.
Home
Home
inspections, right there.
inspections.
Yeah.
That was actually Bayside Home Inspections. Initially, I actually registered with the Sunbiz as Bayside at first.
You big Saved by the Bell fan?
And I was trying to think of
just
something like kind of like tropical Florida vibe.
Yeah,
like, I
Bayside.
don't know.
That feels good.
And then I don't know what I was thinking, but one day I was just like, okay, let me Google this Bayside Home Inspections. And I swear I did it before.
Sure.
I promise.
No, it
and then
happens.
sure as it popped up Bayside Home Inspections like it was on the other coast.
Oh, yeah.
Already existed. Or something very close. And I'm like, oh, I can't call it that.
No, listen, that happens because have you ever Googled your name? There's an NHL. He didn't get drafted. He was up for draft, an NHL player, Chase Berger.
No way.
Yeah, true story. There's a lot of Chase Bergers, actually.
Thought I was the only
Not
one.
that-
There's a golfer.
Yeah, he might be a golfer.
Charles Berger.
Charles Berger.
Charles.
man.
Well, I didn't do Charles. I did Chase. There's
Yeah.
a Chase
Yeah.
Berger that the first thing that popped up was NHL, and I clicked on it. It was like has not been drafted, and then I went to his Facebook page, and it's like he's a hockey legend. Chase, if you're out there, good job. Keep going.
Side story to that, which kind of comes back to our origin story.
Sure.
Working at Carrabba's. Prior to working at Carrabba's, I had applied for a job at Advanced Auto Parts. Applied for Advanced Auto Parts, did their background check, and actually knew the general manager. It was pretty much like a shoo-in, right? Everything about the application process was a formality. So I
I know where this is going.
do the
Go ahead.
background check, do the drug test, application, everything's good. He calls me in. I'm thinking I'm getting called in to like get my shirts and get a start date, right? So he calls me into the office. He goes, "Hey, you failed your background check." I said, "What do you mean I failed the background check?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know. Like we use this company. You have to call them and they'll give you more information." And I was like, "Okay, well, can you redo it? Like, what about the job?" He goes, "I can't hire you for." It was like 6 months or a year, whatever the case might be. But I was like, couldn't get the job. So I'm like, failed the background check. What the heck? So I go through with this company and they're like, "Oh yeah, you were arrested for grand theft auto in 1993." I was like, well,
Not this guy.
I was 3 years old, so I don't think that's the
This is
case.
elaborate. Yeah.
So somehow I get a hold of like what information they
Jeez.
submitted, and they submitted. There was 2 boxes they could check for like their submission. And it was by name or by social, and they submitted it by name. And there was a return for some guy with my name. That was
Piece
arrested.
of shit, Chase.
Lost the job. Then I applied at Carrabba's with Zach, and now here we are.
And here we are. And I wonder if I always ask myself this question: if this didn't happen, would that and this and that and that would have happened?
That was it.
So my similar story, not to sidetrack too much, but it's like I was living in Costa Rica for a year. I came back and I couldn't find a job. My hair was long. I had like dreads. You know, I was like I was a fucking hippie. And like I couldn't find a job.
Of that.
Yeah, I'll show you the picture. It's gross.
Sounds
Dude, when I cut my dreads in the back, like the inside of it looked like petrified dog poop. It was just white. And anyway, it's gross. Dreads are disgusting. Back to the story. So I couldn't find a job, so I cut my hair, and the first place I went to after I cut my hair was Carrabba's. And that dude, Mike, you remember Mike?
Yeah.
The skinny dude
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
high strung but cool?
Yep.
I never even interviewed with Vince. And I told that to Vince when I talked to him. I was like, I never even interviewed with you. I didn't meet you until...
So, because we didn't get hired too far apart.
No.
So when I got hired,
It was like 2009 or 2010.
When I got hired, Vince was on because I think he had just signed some sort of renewal for his proprietorship, and he took like this 90-day hiatus.
Yeah,
Right?
I think
got
that was the
hired
same thing.
during that time.
Yeah.
So Vince came in. I felt like I was like just well established, and and he's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Kind of
Sit
thing
down.
when I
Let's
showed
talk.
up.
Yeah. That's crazy. But anyways, yeah, like if I didn't do, I always think about like if you didn't do this, you didn't make this decision, you didn't do that, like where would my life be? Where would I be now? I don't, and not in like a, man, I missed my window. Just in like a, holy shit, I'm so lucky that I'm here. And all of these things had to happen to make this happen, to make just even this moment happen.
Some dude had to get arrested in '93 for Grand Theft Auto.
Right. Otherwise,
Here
you'd
we
be
are.
like, hey, welcome to AutoZone or whatever that life would have taken you. What about you, man? So, like, Eddie, talk to me about going back to the side hustles, right? And we'll come back, right? I'm just pause that. I'm going to come back. Don't be scared. Have a beer. Drink your beer. So again, officer, you're working your ass off. You did correctional. Then, at what point did Coppertail Woodwork start? Was it the correctional thing? Like
No,
officially
no.
start? Like when did? Yeah.
Officially?
Well, I mean, not like when you registered your LLC, but like when did you start making shit for people?
I can't remember the year, but I remember what did it. So I was working just on patrol, normal cop, with that 12-hour shift Chase was talking about.
Yeah.
And I was actually playing in a golf tournament with a buddy of mine at the time. And like every golf tournament, at the end, you have dinner. They do silent auction. They announce prizes and all that stuff. And one of the things that was up for silent auction was this massive wooden American flag. And it was, I mean, I say massive. It was probably 3.5 by 5 foot. Maybe
It's the one you
4
see
by
at, if
6.
you've ever been to Buc-ee's and you're going to the bathroom and they have all that wall art. It's like one of those.
I've
you know
never
what I'm talking about?
never been to a Buc-ee's.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
So we
Have you been? Okay. You know what I'm talking about then?
Yeah,
Okay.
no. But
You've never seen the wall art in the Buc-ee's hallway on the way to the bathroom?
I'm one of the few that
like-
were just not impressed by Buc-ee's.
Stop
I
and
didn't get the hype.
No, it's weak, but it's worth going. It's a good halfway point between here and LJ, Georgia. Anyway, sorry.
So they,
Chase was being rude. Go ahead.
they had this big
Send 'em out.
they had this big flag for auction. My buddy was like, "Man, I really like that flag." So he goes up to the little clipboard for the silent auction. It was up to like, I don't know, $550, $600, and he goes, "I don't want to pay that for this." He goes, "I know it's going to a good cause," and I was like, "Don't do that." I was like, I feel like I can make you that." And he's like, "Well, if I want one, I don't want it that big. A little smaller, hang up in my living room over my little bar that he had."
Sure.
And I was like, "Give me a couple weeks. I guarantee you, I can make that." Now, prior to this, I kind of had the same mindset as Chase. When I bought my house, I bought my first house when I was 20.
Good for you.
And I had that same mindset mainly because I was broke. If something breaks, I'm going to fix it
It's
myself.
on us. Yeah, I hear you.
Thankfully, my first house, first neighborhood, the street that I lived on, the guys were awesome. Quickly, we all became friends. We all had our own little separate, knowledge that we can lean on each other for. So anyway, I'd always fix stuff myself if I got the chance to. So when he wanted this flag, I said, "Yeah, I can make you that." So I took to YouTube, just looked up, wooden American flag DIY. 1,000,001 videos of guys in their garage building it 1,000,001 different ways, and bought some stuff, tried it, put it together. So I look up all these videos on how to make this flag, and I end up cranking one out the size that he wanted, color, cranking it out. And
This is why we're friends. We're all laughing about the same fucking thing. Oh,
So-
I love it. So good.
Work
Tell us
the
how much you
wood.
love flags.
Yeah.
How patriotic are you?
Love this flag.
So I make the one he wants that he likes. I gift it to him, and he goes, "Man, this is really cool. I appreciate it." And I take a picture of it and I post it on Facebook, or whatever. And then I had like 4 or 5 people reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, can you make me one of those?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I'd crank them out, put them together, deliver them to them, and then I'd ask them, or they'd ask me, what do you want for this? I was like, I don't know, $100. And I had the sense enough to look up to see what some of the other ones that were online were like selling for at the time, and saw that they were, 150, 200, some pretty extravagant ones or custom stuff put on it.
Yeah, but that's serious cheddar cheese.
I mean, $100, and at the time it cost me. I did the math back then, and this had to have been probably, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago when this whole thing kind of started.
Sure.
And I think it cost me like $14.27, like the number that I remember that it cost me to make one of those flags. So I'm like, all right, selling them for $100, that's pretty good. And that's where it kind of branched off to like the custom things, like people sending me a picture, hey, can you make this? Can you make this? And then I would make my own furniture, end tables, coffee tables in the house, stuff like that. And then for the longest time, it just kind of stayed as a hobby that would get me some little extra spending money. And it wasn't until, about a year ago when I went to go file my taxes with my tax guy. He goes, "Hey, tell me about this woodworking thing. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
Spent a lot of money on this hobby.
yeah. And
Why does everything have semen on? You've been jacking it on all this woodworking
just
stuff.
cranking it.
Cranking all over the. What does cranking it mean? And why am I writing this off?
Yeah. So he was the one who actually talked me into making it legitimate, doing a business with it. I had always danced with that idea, and I have some buddies of mine that also did woodwork stuff that I had reached out to who had become businesses, and I'd asked them, okay, what made you decide to do that? Is it worth it for me? They worked in the same profession as us, so they dealt with the same time restraint, schedule, stress, being tired, all that stuff. And so I reached out to a few of them, and at the time I was like, this doesn't seem worth it. And plus government makes me nervous.
Sure.
I don't want to forget to file something. You come telling me I owe you this, and that scared the hell out of me.
Right.
So I was like,
well, especially given your main hustle, right? You don't want to fuck up your main shit,
right?
By having a dream.
Yeah. So he convinced me to file as legitimate business, and he goes, just give it a shot. He goes, if you don't like it, okay, then shut it down and just go back to doing it as a hobby. Because that's the one thing too I didn't want to lose is I enjoy doing it as a hobby. Like Chase said earlier, you get somebody that when it becomes a job, or you get somebody who wants some bass-ackwards thing built, and you're just like, no, that's stupid. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it sucks the passion out of it, for sure.
And it was definitely my escape. Like I could just go in the garage and just build something.
And tinker.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that. I totally get that. Like this was kind of that for me was like, I spent a lot of years being a musician and having an outlet for creative and shit, and then as soon as you become a homeowner, a husband, a father, the window of time shrinks, right? Of opportunities to do things, but also interest at time. The band versus what we're doing right now is it's 7:45 p.m. If I was in a band, I'd be leaving my house right about now, and I'd be out till 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. And that's not conducive to a healthy marriage and being a good dad.
And
right?
your age.
And my age. Well, that's not true. Ozzy was just out there. He did it. Yeah, he was the Stones. I could pick a bunch of people. There is actually one dude, I don't know his name, that looks like one of those wax figures from fucking Disney. But anyway, but yeah, I hear you, man. It's you gotta balance loving something, getting paid. It's really easy to not love it after you have to do it. It's the have to.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's I can only speak on the behalf as a guy. Maybe women feel this too, but anytime I have to do something, I immediately don't want to do it. Do you guys ever feel that?
Yeah.
So that's not unique to me. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I have to do something, I'm like, I'm gonna procrastinate the shit out of this thing and phone it in at the 12th hour, right? So once you decided to do it, Eddie, what's been your biggest challenge? What's the hardest thing? Is outside of the passion? Clearly, that's fuck. I want to do this, and sometimes I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So what's your biggest challenge?
The hardest thing for me to sort through is figuring out my worth. I know how much the wood costs.
Yeah.
But then also I know how much I would pay for something, but that's also because I have the knowledge and the skill set to make it. So I'm like, well, why would I pay that guy $400 for this end table when I could put it together for $40, $50 worth of wood. But I had to quickly and still have to quickly remind myself that like not everybody has that skill set or the equipment or the
No, it's like that scene in Joe
time.
Dirt. It's not about you. It's about the consumer. Yeah, it's about the consumer, dude.
Yeah, so I always have to remind
It's worth
myself.
what people will pay.
Right.
Right?
And finding your own worth, that was a big thing. And I asked
Sure.
my buddy, and because he had a woodworking business that, thankfully, because I say thankfully loosely, because he had to shut his business down is why I have a lot of the tools I have.
Sure.
Because he had to put them in storage for a while, and he had housing. He moved to a different house that he didn't have the space for it. And then eventually he texts me one day and says, "Hey, I have all these tools, discount price if you want them." And I was like, "Yep, I'll
Those
be
are the
right there."
best deals. I don't want to tell myself, man, but I got like literally like $3,000 worth of guns the same way.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, legitimately, they're fine. We cleared them.
Yeah.
But, you know, seriously, it was the same thing. It was like, yo, dude, I'm moving. I'm to a small condo. I had a big ass safe, and now I'm going down to a small safe. Do you want any of these? And I said, yep,
Yeah.
I'll take all of this.
Yeah. So having to figure out without, punching a clock and keeping track of that, like, what do you think that your time's worth to make whatever this is? Now, it gets different when I make these like cutting boards or coasters and all that small stuff because I can just crank those out and keep them on hand.
Yeah, I saw a picture on your Instagram before I texted this to Kayla where there was legit a stack of these. Are beautiful, by the way, and I have only 2, and so this sucks when there's 3 of us or 4 of us. But there was a stack of these things, like probably like 12 or 15 if I had to guess. I didn't count them, but and you were just cranking these things out.
Cranking them out.
Cranking these things out.
Doing a lot of cranking.
That's the name of the show, by the way. This episode's going to be called Cranking It Out.
Side hustles, cranking them out.
Cranking them out. But can you crank out as fast as, how many inspections can you crank out in a day as fast as he cranks out some woodwork?
I could do 2 quality home inspections in the quality home. I'd say probably 2,500 square foot and lower, but before noon if I'm out there at 8 o'clock. I can get 2 good quality home inspections.
And at $500-ish?
Yeah, ish.
Yeah, give or take.
Ish. I mean, because we get a lot of add-ons too. So the base price is $350 for the first 2,200 square foot and $50 for every additional 500 square foot. But people have pools. That's a separate inspection. People want wind mitigations, the insurance inspections. It's a whole other aspect to it. So wind mitigations,
and you can do all
four-point
that
inspections.
shit.
Yeah. So I made sure that to do pools, you got to have the proper training. To do wind mitigation, proper training. To do the 4 points, proper training. So I made sure before I even put myself out there, I was like, I don't want to be turning business away. So I'll spend the extra time, get the appropriate training, be able to put that on my resume. So when I get the call, I have the opportunity.
The answer
to
is
make the
yes.
money.
I can do all this shit.
Because to get on an older home, to get a home inspection and them not want a 4-point or wind mitigation is it's pretty rare, I would say.
Sure.
So I didn't want to be like, I can do your home inspection, but you got to find someone else to do your wind mit and.
Right.
4-point, they're gonna be like, no, I'm just gonna go to the
with
guy.
the one guy who can do it all.
So
Yep,
it was
I hear you.
not a whole lot of extra effort on me to get that done, but it's a very good upcharge to offer that. So
that's good. So you're doing that, and how many did you do before you and Kayla decided that, hey, Kayla says, hey, I want to start my own business too. Walk me through this.
I mean, that was kind of a whole tornado of things that kind of occurred for us
Always
for that
is.
to happen. So
Always is.
One, me starting the home inspection thing, because I like doing home inspections. They're fun. It's I'm out.
Get you out of the house.
Gets me out of the house. I'm doing something drastically different than my W-2, which I also liked. But I'm not passionate about conditions of homes.
Cranking it. What are you doing? What's all that noise over there? Anyways, I think he needs another beer. Is what he said.
Yeah.
When you get a chance, I don't want to hinder
No,
your...
just ask for it.
Yeah, you interrupted my
We're not going to jail.
fucking train of thought.
Especially not you guys.
Anyway,
Rude.
It really just lit the fuse even more. I was like, I'm doing this. What more could we be doing?
Sure.
Even before I started the home inspection thing, I remember having conversations with people. I was like, I just want to kind of run the hustle a little bit and know what it's like to start my own business. Home inspections is perfect because I can work my own hours.
Yeah.
I can set my own prices. I'm not working for anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the perfect business to start where I'm fully in control of everything.
Right.
So once I had that and it was starting to be successful and doing exactly what I wanted it to do, I'm like, well, looking back, this was actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
So what other opportunities are there?
It was so calculating. You had done so much I call it pre-production. You had pre-thought this whole thing out to where it kind of it sounds like it felt seamless. You can, before the kids even got up for, before Kayla even wanted to go, hey, let's go to the farmer's market or something, you had already done one.
Yeah.
You were in and out, boom,
Right.
$500.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I tried to schedule them as early as I could
Sure.
on the days that I was off.
Yeah.
So
How do you guys feel about 5 a.m.?
Yeah. Honestly, there's some realtors that I work with. I know are or night owls. I'd be like, hey, I'll be there at 8. They're like, how's noon? I'm like, okay, I'll be there at noon. So there was sometimes it didn't quite work out, but I would try to do them as early as I
just
could.
knock it the fuck
get
out. Yeah.
1 or 2 on that Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And that was doing
Done.
exactly
it's
what
actually-
I needed it to do.
Yeah, if you had two at 500, that's fucking $2,000 a weekend, dude.
And the overhead is not that. I mean, insurance was
Checks out.
pretty. Insurance was pretty affordable. The tools for startup was like, I think I paid $2,000 to $3,000 for all of my stuff, some of which I already had.
Like a ladder.
Like I bought 2 ladders.
Yeah.
I needed it.
Yeah, ladders are expensive, man. By the way,
You know
dude,
the best place to get ladders?
Where is that?
Side of the Suncoast.
Jesus.
Bro, they're on the side. They fall off of trucks all the damn time.
Okay, now I get it. I thought it was like a suicide joke.
No, that's horrible.
People climb up and jump.
No, it's not high enough.
Oh, for whatever reason, I was thinking the big bridge, the Skyway. You said Suncoast. I'm sorry. I was thinking Skyway Bridge. I was like,
no, they fall off of utility trucks and they
Yeah.
just stay there.
Yeah, but it's easier for you guys to get. You're on the road way more than I am, especially you.
Yeah. I drive a lot.
Well, hey, if you ever find a ladder, I'll take one. Somebody gave me one of those free ones, like a friend of my dad's, that like it accordions together.
Dude, that's what I got. It's fantastic.
It's actually super badass.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting up Christmas lights has never been easier. So hold on, I'm going back in my mind. Okay, so
So to start Nest. Right?
yeah,
What
so
gave us-
right,
yeah,
exactly
what-
right. Okay, so how
So
did
that was
happen?
kind of the mindset. I was like, what more could we do? I think we could do this. This whole thing was a wait. Looking
I'm
back,
doing a lot, Kayla. What could you?
No, taking a step back, looking, what I did to start the business and get it somewhat established to where we're making money. I'm like, that was totally doable. At the beginning, I'm like, I'm gonna have to like market myself and reach out to people. I could do all this training, right? But then looking back, you're like, that was pretty easy. Like, what else can we get going?
Right.
So the Nest thing, and I think it's probably a better story for Kayla to tell. But
Sure. So give me the cliff notes.
we ultimately decided, hey, let's give this a shot. And she was she was with me during the home inspection thing, but I kind of did that all on my own. She's like, well, I don't even know where to start with this. I was
Right.
like, easy. Here's what we got to do. So the home inspection thing really kind of segued
you up.
into the Nest, opportunity, because it's like I had already done it. I'd already kind of been down that path with starting a business and even just the basic stuff, getting established with the state,
Right.
getting the proper licensing,
getting
insurance,
EIN, all that shit, right.
business bank accounts,
Right.
QuickBooks, like
Right.
all the stuff maybe you really don't think about when you're starting a business, and maybe you think about it sometimes probably too late.
Yeah.
I was like, here's our checklist. Here's
You're
what
like building
here's
the
what-
plane as it's in the air.
yeah, here's
for
here's
sure.
what we got to get done to get this thing going. And I
Right.
knew what we wanted Nest to be, and I wanted to be different than what Landfall was from even just a brand, perspective. I was like, I want this to be more. So I was like,
Sure.
here's the additional stuff that I want to do and get done.
Yeah, you did something that was really, really smart when we first started talking about Nest and
Yeah,
kind
I
of
did a whole market
business, a whole
analysis.
market analysis. We're exactly right. On this area, how many were here? And essentially, like, you're very calculating that way, which I think is awesome for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I'm all about calculated risk, right? And it sounds like you took that.
Mm-hmm.
How's it working out?
So far, so good. We're heavier and heavier every month.
Yeah,
right.
that's good.
And so from the time we started, and
It has nothing to do with me, by the way.
I don't know.
No. I think you made a right decision. This area is blowing up. You guys, that market research that you did, this area is growing, which is also why, like, when my brother was like, "Hey, I have an office space," I was like, "I'm gonna just jump on that train because this area is going."
And the market analysis is good, not just from a should I start this business, right? Is it going to make enough money? Is there enough people searching for this type of stuff? But it's like, what are the competitors in the space and what are they doing? Maybe how could we be different? And I think that's probably more than half of the takeaway is,
Sure.
there could have been, and there are other studios in this area, right? But it's like you need to take a look at those and see what they're doing good and what they're doing bad, and maybe separate yourself from them to create your own concept and brand. And I think at the onset we did a good job, and Kayla is just taking it and ran.
Dude, she's crushing, by the way. Like super crushing as far as somebody. I have some clients that don't do the work, don't put in the hours, don't put in, and maybe they are, but they're not like progressing, you know, like, and that's fine. Everybody has a different skill set, but what I'm seeing is that like, well, if you can't do it, that's okay. You have to pay for it, but if you are gonna do it, like, you gotta do it. And to Kayla's credit, and I say it every time we talk once a month, I go, dude, keep doing these things because these things that you're doing are kicking fucking ass.
She's crushing. I would tell you, everything that I'm talking about was from like July 2024 to December of 2024. Anything from the day we opened those doors has been all her.
And she's crushing. And she's crushing. Eddie, so you also have a wife that also side hustles.
She does, yeah. Yeah.
That's great. And she works she's a legal gal too.
In a way. So from the time that I met her until, I think probably a couple of months ago, she was always a paralegal. Yeah. She's worked for a couple of different law firms. And then she recently just took a position.
But when you met her, she was barely legal. Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Keep going.
No, she was.
No, you're right.
Is that true? I just made that up. I thought it was funny.
No, yeah, she was like 22 when I met her.
No,
23.
that's totally legal.
Yeah.
Pam was barely legal when I met her, which is why I waited 6 years. Anyway, go ahead.
That math checks out.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So she just took an office manager spot
Yeah.
at her law firm that she works for. But she just got into, I say just, it's probably been, I don't know, about a year. Got into photography, started doing that. Typical woman. She's, very good at pictures and angles and figuring out what the shot is. And
The rodeo stuff I just saw she did is super sexy.
so that's kind of where she started.
Really nice stuff.
We frequent probably, 6 to 8 rodeos a year. And then she just started, she found an old camera that I had. I bought it, I think back when I was in high school. And I have no idea why I bought it. I think it was just I had money.
I can make up a few ideas.
For the woodworking.
No,
Cranky can't have anything to do with it.
It's not that kind of camera.
Exactly. Hey, any camera's that
Any
kind of
camera
camera if
works.
you know how to use it. Anyway.
So she found this camera, this old camera that I had, and she started bringing it to the rodeos with us. Started taking pictures.
And he was like, don't format that card.
Yeah. So she started taking pictures and downloaded some editing software and just went crazy with it and started posting them. And then, like anything, she had some friends reach out to say, hey, can you do pictures for this and this? And it just kind of has taken off from there. Photography
is a super competitive space because, we all have these.
Yeah.
And these do anybody that doesn't know shit about shit, like myself, a phenomenal photographer, right? But
are digital cameras making a comeback? Side story.
Like the ones with the screen, like the little...
Like the ones that... Like the compact digital cameras?
Oh, like the little mini guys? Or like the cranky guys?
No, like the actual
Kodaks.
like mini like digital cameras.
Yeah, so technically, these are DSLRs, but those... No. You're saying the even more small.
Yeah, like...
I don't know if they're making a comeback. I don't know, but I'm not saying I don't know as if I'm the voice of what is hip. I haven't seen that. Is what I'm saying.
We were in downtown St. Pete earlier in the week, and I saw 2 people doing selfies with 2 little digital cameras. I don't know.
Now they look little.
No, I'm telling you, I know what a digital camera looks like.
But they're like the quality of it.
Yeah, but maybe it's like the iPhone where they went really big and they're like, now the new iPhone's coming out. And the next thing you know, it's going to be it's going to be a fucking iPod.
My thought was, how our generation thought Polaroids were trendy and we use Polaroids.
We still use
now the earlier generations these cool digital cameras, we'll use it. So
these things are 18 pixels. This is suck.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe. I don't know.
Sorry.
Back to Kayla.
Yeah.
Kayla's, those rodeo pictures are super good.
Yeah, she does good. She does good pictures.
I felt weird. I didn't want to like too many because I didn't want her to think that I'm cranking it. But I was like, 3 feels appropriate.
If you're cranking it to some guy on a bull, that's your problem.
No. It was all right. Hey, listen.
Fire away.
It wasn't just guys.
Yeah.
It was the bull.
Really,
I'm really into bulls.
Yeah. So she likes it. And like any, starting up side hustle, she's as busy as she wants to be.
Right.
And I learned quickly with photography is I would say 90% of the work is done after when you get home doing the
Post.
editing and all that stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think, every night, I know if I'm at work, because I work till about, 10 at night, and if she goes like 2 hours without a text or something, I'll say, hey, what you up to? And she's like, oh, editing pictures. I'm like, okay. And
You guys text each other every 2 hours?
No, well,
That's okay.
we usually hold meaningful conversations. Like there's purpose to it.
Yeah, there's substance
Yeah.
to these texts.
But if
not
it goes
dude.
a while and I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
what you up to?
How long? And you guys just celebrated an anniversary.
Yeah, 5 years.
Congratulations. July 4th, right? You got married on 4th of July?
I think it was 5 years. Yeah, it's 5 years. Yeah, 4th of July. That way I never forget it.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
You almost
Yeah.
just forgot it.
Well, I knew when it was. I just didn't know the years.
Math checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
very, very cool. Photography is, here's the thing about creative. It's open to interpretation, similar to woodworking, right?
Yeah.
With what you do, it's like, it is what it is, You passed or you failed.
Right.
This needs to be, you need to fix this or you don't. It's pretty clear and cut. And you seem very much like that dude to me, that you're just like calculated. You're just like calculated risk. I mentioned that earlier. You're an artist, which is interesting, and maybe this is my maybe I'm going to be wrong in saying this, but it's just how I feel. I would assume that all law enforcement officers sway towards calculated, right? Because a lot of what you do is calculations, right? You're constantly mitigating or calculating, situational awareness, those kinds of things. That's all very much like you're making decisions like this, yeah. So like, but then art. Sure, measurements are calculated. I get it, right? There is. You mentioned angles before. Sure, you're not going to make a crazy fucking table that doesn't physically, in the laws of physics, it doesn't make sense. But like putting two pieces of wood like this together, I don't know how you did that. That's art to me, right? Or like these coasters, And the last time we were talking, you were like, you're explaining what type of wood they are. That shit's art to me. Like, so talk to me about that. Like, what's it like being an artist? Do you see yourself as an artist?
Do I?
Now that I've
Not
painted
really.
this artist picture?
No, I mean,
how about now?
I see the angle you're taking with it, but I've never, a lot of it, like these patterns, I'll be in the shop and I'll just line up a bunch of different, colors or species of wood together. And
The fact that you just used the word fucking species is an artist word. Nobody calls them species unless you're an artist.
the next step is I call my wife and I say, hey, come look at this. Does this look okay? And then she'll switch it or move it. And
Because she's an artist.
she is an artist.
Yeah.
She can see all that stuff that I don't. And
So in a long roundabout way, you're agreeing with me that it is art.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At
sweet.
the end of the day. It's
So how
art.
long have you been an artist?
I guess since I just started woodworking. I mean, I've never been a drawer or anything like that. I mean,
A drawer.
drawer,
Drawer.
a drawer.
An artist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
you didn't doodle?
No,
Did you doodle?
Nothing worth.
I did that. That
I should
S,
show you guys notebooks.
that
Every time
S
I'm in a
thing in
meeting.
high school.
Oh yeah, that's the doodle.
3
Yeah.
or 6 lines. Can't connect
Dude,
them.
every piece of fucking notes. Like my notes are. If I write notes, they're just fucking. They're essentially just me. Just. Oh really? Wow! Oh my god! Cool. Oh, it's a rainbow with fucking dicks on it. Sweet. Like I'm just constantly drawing, dude. Not rainbows with dicks. It's other things. It's unicorns with dicks. It's
Yeah.
bears with dicks.
It's a common
I just put
theme,
dicks
though.
on it. I usually
Common
make
theme.
sure that they got a dick on it.
Yeah.
What's that movie? Superbad.
I was trying to. It was a
Yeah,
super bad.
Superbad.
Okay,
So funny. Chase, what about you? So the biggest struggle, I know you want to save some Nest for Kayla, and we will. She'll be on soon. Starting a business, what have you found is the biggest like hurdle?
taking the jump to actually do it. I think once you're in it and you're committed, like you're going to find solutions to problems. Like if you're doing it, someone else before you has already done it. Now we live in a world with infinite resources with the internet. So there isn't a problem that can't be solved. So I think just, it's going to sound maybe cliche, but, trusting in yourself that you've made the right decision and, going for it, I think that's definitely the hardest thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't disagree. What about you? What do you think what's been the biggest hurdle for you, Eddie?
The biggest was the fear of it becoming a chore and just not wanting to do it. I mean, making like the cutting boards and stuff, like I said before, those are, I can crank those out. Now I'm saying it on purpose.
Bullshit. I think you talk like this every day.
I can make quite a bit of those like in a day.
If you ever pulled me over and you just started using like, hey, I'm just going to crank out this ticket real quick.
Yeah, no.
Get out of here. I'm not paying that ticket.
In 11 years, I can count on one hand the amount of times I wrote a ticket. The
Cool. Well,
he's
I know
a big-
you got awarded by like MAD, which is weren't you part of like the wolf pack or whatever? Your job, your whole mandate was to write tickets or take people to jail. Anyway,
But aside from that, the biggest hurdle is time, like finding time.
yeah,
Like you had mentioned before, like we kind of live on a small farm. So between juggling weekly chores, you know, on top of, all right, I got to get this stuff done. So just breaking up the day to know like, okay, if I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday is woodworking day. Like I'm in the shop. I'm going
Yeah.
to start working on stuff. Saturday is usually like chore day around the
Yeah,
house.
farm stuff.
Whether it's mowing.
Oh, okay. Like
Shoveling.
residential stuff, domesticated stuff.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
shoveling pig shit.
Wow, that's farm stuff.
Yeah. All that stuff.
Yeah.
The wife just got ducks. Ducks need a pond. Ponds get green in Florida. Figuring out how to build, you know what a bog filter is?
No.
I didn't either till about a week ago. And I made one. So let's hope it works.
Yeah. So what is a bog filter?
It's essentially like a natural way of filtering water through different sized rocks in a way.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so like charcoal, sand, those kinds of things. Like
Close.
different.
Yeah. Essentially the same thing. So you pump the water out of the pond into some sort of receptacle.
A
whether
reservoir,
it's a barrel. We used an old watering trough that we used when we had cows.
Sure.
And so at the bottom of the trough, you know, we put lava rock. And
Sure.
then on top of that, a smaller river rock. And then on top of that,
Yeah, like a bunch of different substrates.
yeah,
right?
pea gravel.
Yeah, right.
And then the idea is as the water filters through the rock, all the algae, green shit clings to that rock, and then it just naturally filters it. So
Sure.
we ended
Have you
up,
tried too, like goldfish and like putting different kind of like
yeah, that's our goal eventually. So like,
because they'll eat a lot of that shit.
well, and ducks eat goldfish. So
Cool. Yeah, it's win-win.
yeah, until they eat them all,
Why am I buying all these goldfish?
Well, you got to make it deep enough where the ducks can't get them.
they can get them.
Oh, they can
them
get 'em. Oh, they
jokers.
won't get 'em.
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
dive down.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I guess.
Yeah.
So you see those ducks like feet up, butt up. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They so just there's always something to do outside.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question? This is like side hustle. Is why not sell? The pigs.
Yeah.
That's a whole business in and of itself.
Kind of not deliberately.
Sure.
So when we moved up to where we live and we got the land that we wanted, the goal was to kind of just make a homestead, be a little bit more self-sufficient, grow food, raise food, all that type of stuff.
Why? Because Epstein didn't kill himself, or why?
Just, I don't know,
The opinions of this conversation do not represent the agency.
Yeah.
What's the agency?
Yeah.
We'll put it up. It'll be fine.
no, it was just because obviously it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that it's better for you. You grow your own vegetables, it's better for you. You know what went on it. You know what pesticides were used, if any.
Sure.
It goes the same with meat. If you raise an animal, you know what it's fed. You control what it's fed.
Yeah, have you been seeing this dude going viral from Palm Harbor? He bought steaks off the Publix from Alderman, Alt 19. What plaza is that? And it was across from Rum Runners.
Yeah.
He's all over, and he's adding Publix like crazy right now. But essentially, he bought, I don't know who buys fucking steaks from Publix, but anyway, he bought a piece of meat, and the whole thing, it looks like literally like chewed up bubble gum, like the meat. And all these people are commenting, it's like, oh, it's meat glue, and it's all this glue, and it's all this shit. And so he's like adding Publix, like trying to get a hold of them. He tried to get it tested from some third party, and they were like, oh, it's Publix, we're not touching that.
Yeah.
Like Publix is a big ass organization, right? But anyways, yeah, to your point, like, yeah, dude, you got to know where your meat's coming from. And then we split that like a quarter, not even. We didn't even get like a whole fucking cow. It's not expensive in the grand scheme of things, right? Number one. But it definitely like, and I think we still have like some stew meat and some stuff that's like you don't really cook every day. You got to find a use case for it. But I'm with you is that you want to know where the hell this shit's coming from. You want to know what's in it. And then as you're doing it, like I have chickens. This is like very small on the raising my own shit list, but like you realize that like, oh, if I feed them this kind of stuff, the output is X.
Right.
Right. If you take care of them, you start to realize how hard it is and how much work it takes to grow to get one egg. Right. Or I have like a little raised bed, and it was like I planted green beans and then they sprouted, and I literally got like 8 green beans.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. Like, dude, anybody you can eat the rest of your green bean? Like, there wasn't enough green beans for the family, right? So you start to appreciate like how hard this shit is.
Yeah.
So that's point 3. And then point 4 is like so going back to the business part of it, it's like, how do you make money off that?
No.
Or like, why not? It costs you money.
It
Because I
does.
know chickens cost me money. It's way more than fucking the price of eggs.
Yeah.
I can promise you that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It on our scale, I don't think it'll ever get to the point where it makes us money. Does it help offset some cost of things? Sure. So going back, when we got our first 2 pigs, I'd done a lot of research to figure out like what breed of pig I wanted. Like dogs, there's several breeds of different. I mean, every animal, there's several different breeds of them. So I decided on the breed of pig that I wanted based off the size of land that I had, the amount of work I wanted to put into them, and just good things I heard about this breed. And one thing I had heard about the breed is that if you get a male and a female, a hog and a gilt, a female pig who hasn't had any babies yet is referred to as a gilt. So if you get a male and a female and you raise them together, there's a solid chance that they don't breed. They just kind of form this brother-sister relationship and they live happily ever after. So I
Clearly
figured,
not from the South.
yeah.
I'm just sure.
So I figured, all right, worst case scenario, I got these 2 pigs, whatever. It's cool. You know, they don't cost a lot to feed. When you factor in, they're just 2. Sure enough, as soon as they got of age to breed, they bred. And then she gave us 8 babies. I don't need 8 pigs. So I was like, all right, well, they're somewhat of a rare breed. Not everybody has them, but the folks that do want them, they're sought after because they're mild-mannered. They don't rut up your land like a lot of pigs do. They're like puppy dogs. They come up to you, you scratch their bellies, they roll over. They don't eat a lot. They're pasture pigs. So if you have grass and pastures, they can go out and just munch.
If you have land, they're a good pig. Yeah.
And even if you don't have pastures for them to graze, their standard of what they need to eat every day is relatively low compared to other breeds of pig. So anyway, she gave us 8 babies, and I was like, well, we don't need 8 babies. So there's different, farm pages out there that you could post for sale, and we ended up selling piglets that way. And of course, that kind of, at the time that we sold them, offset the cost of, some of the feed. But as soon as they're gone, you're right back to shoveling out the money for it.
Yeah.
My idea up front was to get into it, keep some, raise them for meat, because I can charge a heck of a lot more for a butchered pig
processed,
than I can some little piglet. And because I know a heck of a lot more people that want the meat, they don't want the pig to raise.
They don't want the labor pains. They just want the baby.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they don't want to feed it
yeah.
twice a day, make sure the water's there, make sure they got mud. Heat of summer, I'm out there spraying water at dirt.
Yeah.
2-3 times a day.
I've been watching some of your videos. It's crazy.
Yeah. So,
it's like, when is he a cop? He's out here just fucking,
yeah.
cranking on
Cranking
wood
wood.
and fucking
Watering hogs.
spraying pigs.
Yeah. So from the first litter that we had, we ended up keeping 2 that we were going to raise for meat. Well, that was a year and a half ago, and they're just now to the point where, like, I'm ready to have them butchered and get something back out of them. Even if I were to sell one of those pigs butchered, I mean, I'd probably charge for a whole pig butchered. I'd probably charge close to $800 to $1,000, just because the meat of this breed of pig is much more sought after because it has fantastic marbling in it. It doesn't look like your standard pork chop. They eat high quality grain when they do get it, and it's such a very small amount. The rest of that all is coming from hay, acorns that naturally just fall on our land, from the trees. So, but then you run into the market. Who wants to pay $1,000 for a butchered pig? It's there, but it's few and far
when we went to
between.
go buy that cow. It's
And it's the same
pricey.
with, and it's the
You gotta
same
come
with
to
the
table with a lot of
it's
cheddar
the same
cheese,
with the woodworking thing where
Yeah.
somebody's like, it's an end table. Why are you charging $500? They're like, well, it's a pig. Like, I can go to Publix and get, a a good amount of pork for a fraction of the price. But
go to Publix.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's what I tell
Publix.
people. Same with the woodwork. You know,
Yeah.
if they're like, I can get this there, do it. Or my favorite thing in woodworking is like, well, I can do it myself. I'm like, okay, then do it. You're not, because you're going to learn really quick.
Dude,
You don't have the tools for it, the patience for
my
it.
biggest and I'm gonna tell myself a little bit. When you were outside of my house the other day, but
Yeah.
you've never been inside, and that's on me. I need to have you and
I was
Kayla
busy.
over. Well, that's fine, but I need to have you guys over for dinner. But like anytime somebody works in wood and then comes in my house and looks at the shit I've done, I'm just like, no, don't look like, it was my first job. I just start making excuses for why it's not perfect, because it's not.
Yeah.
So I always get like kind of nervous when professionals in a space or artists in a space come in and look at my shit. Now, if it's with music, I'll stand by my music all day long
Yeah.
because I'm good. Or my marketing, it's like the things you're confident in, you stand up against. Going back to the meat, like, I'll say this: I know enough people. Here's a marketing thing. Have you started a Facebook page for that shit to say, hey, co-ops, right? Because that's what it is you want people to like. Not one person has $1,000.
Yeah.
To just burning a hole in their pocket to buy some fucking pork. And
Right.
then the bigger than that, not a lot of people have the space. Like we got a deep freeze. You guys have a deep freeze, right? Like that's why we were able to do it. But honestly, it took like weeks. And I think it started with a bunch of people and whittled down to just Chase and I
Right.
that actually said, yeah, we're actually going to fucking do it. And we have the space and we have, the capital to buy it.
Right.
We understood the value of that.
Yeah.
So understanding just from personal experience that life cycle of the sale, so to speak, is that like start a Facebook group, right? Would be if you wanted to go down that way.
Right.
Start a Facebook group, invite people fucking to it, and then from there take deposits. Because
Yeah.
you had these 8 pigs. I know you don't have them anymore, but at the time it'd be like, hey, Mama's gonna drop 8. Or actually, do you even know? Do you get them ultrasound? Like, how do you even know? I know a place you can get that done.
We actually joked with Kayla so she's had our
Dude, veterinary. I mean,
Yeah.
why not get a mobile one? She has the know-how. No, is it different?
Get a mobile for Eddie's pigs.
I'm just saying. Well, no, I'm saying that would open up a side hustle.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like, how do you know? You
don't know.
You don't.
No.
It's just it could be 6, it could be 3, it could be
It
what's
could
the
be,
most they could
it
have?
could be
12?
3, 14 is
Jesus,
the high number that I've
dude.
seen.
God, that's a lot.
Yeah. The
And they
problem
grow
is
fast too.
so these ones, and that's where I think the marketing thing and the meat business, if you will, for this breed of pig, if you have the space and the means to do it, then it could be lucrative. They take your average pig that you buy from the store. Safe to say, it's probably 6 to 10 months old when it's butchered. These pigs take 16 months, like on the low end, to get them to like full size where you're getting the full benefit of the animal.
Right.
Obviously, you can
So
butcher.
you got to charge for that. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously you can butcher younger if somebody wants to use it as a roaster, like a whole pig that they just throw in a smoker.
Right.
But if you want the full product out of the animal, 16-ish months, 14 to 16-ish months. So that's twice a day feeding. They're slow growing. And that's why it started with just 2. I said, we'll raise 2 for process. We'll see the yield we get out of it. So that way I can give, because I know like Chase said he was interested in one.
Yeah, I'm
but I want to
interested.
be able to give him an accurate, like, okay, this is the poundage you're getting back. And where this breed gets kind of tricky is you have to more so look at the quality as opposed to the quantity. Whereas you might get 85 pounds of meat back, a shit ton of lard, because they're lard pigs. They have a lot of fat.
Yeah.
But obviously that fat can be used for so many things.
Yeah.
I mean,
like tallow,
pig
right?
fats, tallow,
yeah.
candles, body lotion.
Yeah.
There is so much
Probably in
stuff.
fucking everything that people are using right now.
Yeah.
Skin lotion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you get
Jesus.
the all natural,
Yeah.
like a lot of it,
Yeah.
there's pig fat, put in it.
Yeah, to that point, not to sidetrack, my sister last Christmas, a friend of hers or whatever started like a beef tallow company, and it came in mason jars and it was like kind of decked out but not too fancy, and it was for your fucking skin.
Yeah,
And like women are putting this shit like
yeah, it's good for
under
you.
your eyes, under your fucking, I don't know where they're putting it, but they're putting it places.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I tell you where I put it in the pantry in the back, and I haven't touched it. So if you guys want some beef tallow,
You got to cook with it. It's good.
well,
You can make it pretty easy and cheap.
yeah,
Just render down lard.
it's just rendered down lard.
Like I called Publix. I was like, hey, I need your trimmings. I'm making tallow. They knew exactly what I was talking about. Like, okay. I was like, I'll be there tomorrow afternoon. And they handed me like 6 pounds of just like their fat trimmings that they're going to throw away anyway.
Yeah.
And it was like $6.
And you go and they just and the lady's like, I don't have a button for tallow. I don't know.
But if you call them, they'll do it. I'm
Yeah.
sure any other grocery store would do the same.
That's good. You know what's funny about that is I went to Publix to say, hey, if you have any vegetables for your produce stuff that you're throwing out, I'll give it to my chickens. And they're like, oh, we can't do that.
Really?
I was like,
You got to go to like the farmers markets.
Yeah.
So there's one up by us that does a lot of like, they call it canning vegetables because they're just not pretty. So people use them to can.
Yeah.
But we'll buy, because you can get a crate worth of just scratch and dent cucumbers, tomatoes, whatever it
Sure.
is for $5.
Yeah.
And we throw it in our shop fridge. And it gets kind of, we throw it to the pigs. And the best thing is you throw it to them, they eat it. And then in about 6 to 8 weeks, you
got
collect their
tomatoes.
manure,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
compost it, and now you have
Yeah.
these sprouts and you're growing back what you
dude,
fed
that's
them.
so crazy. So my brother-in-law works in, he builds poo plants, which isn't the sexy way to say. He's a civil engineer is the sexy way to say it. But he builds poo plants in Polk County and surrounding. Dude, tomato plants just pop up all the time because human bodies, you don't process those seeds. They have a protective layer over them. So when they get there, they'll just be these like just tomato plant. They're not harvesting these tomatoes, obviously. But I'm interested to know would that Matt Damon did it in that Mars movie. That was all poo manure. Anyway.
So when Justin invites you over for dinner, don't eat the
Don't
tomatoes.
eat the tomatoes.
No, I don't eat tomatoes. I don't even like tomatoes. So don't worry. That'll never happen.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I wanted, this is kind of one of the last things I want to talk about with you guys is that, like, as men, right, we're married, wife, family, kids, full-time jobs. Do you find it, how do you manage working a regular job, right, and then having a wife or kids and the time, like, how do you manage those expectations? Because owning your own shit is hard, right? It requires a lot of fucking time. Do you have any tips or tricks for those out there that are like maybe don't want to start their own thing because it's like, dude, excuse me, dude, they don't want to start their own thing because they're like, dude, I'm busy as fuck. I have all this shit going on.
I think people think they're busy as fuck.
Did you scratch my table?
No, what do you mean?
I can fix
am I gonna
that.
scratch it with?
How dare you? I need a walnut. You can say you can rub a walnut on that. Anyways,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Let me ask the
no.
question again. Hey, how do you? What are your tips for managing that?
I think people think they're busy. And I think every time, what am I going to scratch it with?
I don't know. With your feeling, you son of a bitch.
It's your coaster. You wouldn't let
Look,
me.
you're the only
use.
one that was sitting there. No, I'm just joking. Okay, let's start over. Hi.
Hi.
So, how do you manage that?
I think people think they're too busy.
It was you, though, wasn't it?
Oh.
I'm just joking. No, okay. This time, for real, this time. Was it you, though? Was the coat? Oh, I know what it was.
It was Eddie.
Oh,
See, it was Eddie.
You
Eddie's fault.
It was the bottom of that thing. You motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't. It's fine. So, anyways, you were saying?
Test it.
No, it's fine. No, you just rub a walnut on there.
Apparently.
I have pens at home. I'll just paint it in there. I'm sorry, Eddie. What were you saying though? Just joking. Good. No, but do you know what I'm saying though? It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard doing all this shit.
Yeah,
And so Kayla's there. You know, Kayla's there. I see her now on the weekends because I'm here. I market during the day. I have dinner with the family. I come here. I'm here, dude. Some nights I'm here till 3, 4 in the morning. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying like it's fucking hard.
Yeah,
So,
but do you look at how much you do now and put yourself in the shoes of yourself 10 years ago and think, there's no way I could have done this?
for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But you're doing it now and you're like, oh, okay, like I'm getting through it. It's hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no. I know. Here's the thing. I know I can do it. I guess what the question I was asking is that, like, how do you mitigate as a husband? Your wife's in the biz, right? She's got a business. She's out there cranking it. So that leaves it all on you. I'm telling you, the show's called Cranking It.
That's it.
This episode's called Cranking It. And the same thing for you. It's like,
Right.
you know, you even mentioned, it's like, she hadn't texted me for 2 hours. I know she's working on photos. So it's like, you know, how do you manage it?
I think it just comes, well, from my perspective, it's just prioritizing. And I had a sit down for my full-time job with a guy who was my boss back a few years ago. And during that sit down, typically when we have these sit downs, it's to talk about like, where do you want to go with your career, your life? You know, what do you want to do here? And it's always been just a worthless conversation. I mean, I've hardly ever got anything out of it. But
It's checking a box because they have to
they
have the
say, I
conversation.
talked to you
Sure.
and we talked
Yeah.
about your goals
Sure.
and what you want to do. And half the time it's like, oh, just keep doing what you're doing. Well, when I sat down with this gentleman that I was working under at the time, he had made a point to say, like, I'm not going to talk to you about what you want to do. If you want to go work here, you know what you got to do to get there. So do it. Me telling you got to do that does nothing for you. So he had this whole conversation on time and the importance of prioritizing time because it's the only thing you cannot get back. No matter what you do wrong in life, you mess up on, you can fix it. But time you can't get back. So I think it's important to prioritize that time, and it helps my perspective. I have a full-time job. I have that full-time paycheck. I know that's always going to be there. So the side hustle, while it is important to me and I want it to be successful, at the end of the day, if it comes down to, do I spend 16 hours working in the shop doing A, B, and C, or do I spend 5-6 hours, but then when the wife gets home from work, make sure that we do something together, go out to dinner, even if we just sit in the house and watch TV together, prioritizing to make sure that you still have that time with them. And again, I know that changes if your sole income is coming from this hustle. Then you do need to make some sacrifices.
Well, it's no longer a side hustle.
Right.
That's just a regular
That's a hustle.
Yeah.
Then you do need to understand the sacrifices, and hopefully your partner understands those sacrifices. Like, all right, this hopefully is temporary, and we'll make those sacrifices now.
I love that you said that.
Yeah.
I say that to Pam all the time, that, hey, this, and I've said it since baby one. Because when you have baby one, they're fucking, dude, you haven't eaten, nobody's sleeping, motions are fucking crazy. So they hand you a baby and just go, all right, good luck.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter fucking what book you read, because some books are like, oh, the best way to do it. And then the other book's like, don't ever fucking do that thing you just read. So it's like there's information fucking everywhere. And you're sleep deprived, you're hungry, you're exhausted, you're frustrated, right?
But you get to baby too.
And you get a baby. Oh, and you get a baby too. Yeah.
Right. That's kind of to my point. Is like you realize how much you're actually capable of and how much maybe time you're actually wasting throughout the day when you could be doing something productive.
Sure.
So I think that was like kind of the perception thing that I was bringing up, is people like think they're very busy until they start taking on more, and then kind of overcoming those obstacles and hurdles and realize, oh, I can do this a lot more, and I can do it more efficiently the more that I do it.
Right, but you got to understand that a lot of people don't have that. One thing about us sitting here as not only workers and side hustlers, because that is a breed of person, it's a mentality of a person, is that a lot of people have the like, life's so hard, oh, I can't do it. There's a lot of I can't do it, and the attitude is, no, you fucking can do it. You just can't be a bitch about it,
I think too, though, having
That's for fucking you. If you're listening and you felt convicted, it's because I'm talking to you. You can't be a bitch. It's not for the faint of heart, man, because it does take work. You're right. You do need to prioritize, and we know that, right? But like the biggest challenge for me as a double business owner with a wife that also works her ass off and 2 kids is like prioritizing. And so it's like, especially when you're trying to just get something off the ground, right? Like it requires investment of time, money, et cetera, right? Like we all know it. But it's like, what advice would you give, and anybody, whoever wants to go first, like to that person that's like listening to this and they're going, fuck, I have an idea, I have a feeling, I'm kind of good at this, I want to explore this, but they have like trepidation, they're reluctant to do it. Like, what would you say to that person?
Go ahead.
No,
You
first.
Eddie would say, crank it.
Crank it.
Just crank it.
Honestly, though, that's what I was going to get at. Is like Chase said earlier, is just do it. Because I was in that position where
Shia LaBeouf, I'm just
do it.
yes, you can. No, it's true.
I was afraid, like I said before, I was afraid of getting the government involved and having to report taxes and keep track of expenses and all this other stuff. And at the end of the day, and again, this goes back to pertaining only to the side hustle where you have consistent income to keep you afloat. What do you have to lose? If my woodworking business, not that I wanted to, if it fails in 2 more years, if I don't show a profit and I got to shut it down or change the name, they like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I go back
It
to doing
happens.
it.
Shit happens.
Yeah. I mean, I tried.
It's not world ending.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, if you have nothing and you're trying to leap out, then that requires a little bit more, thought behind it. But
sure, so I'll argue it's not world ending. You're right, but it is like it is a kick in the nuts.
feel like you failed.
It's a kick in the nuts.
Yeah.
And like that in its own rights can be world ending because it'll make you less reluctant to try again. Here's what I do know is that we're all gonna fail. Mm-hmm. And failure, that word is like it's open to interpretation, but we're all gonna be some version of failure, right? This didn't scale as fast. I had a shitty month. In this case, it's like not as many people viewed my show, and thank you guys, by the way, for your love and support. But like this show didn't get as many views as I was fucking hoping it was going to get, or whatever, right? We're all going to be, there's going to be some version of failure, and I think the appropriate response to that, for at least I say 12 months, is just keep fucking powering through that shit, dude, because Rome wasn't built in a day, and all the other wonderful analogies and metaphors that exist out there is that like, this shit, like shit takes time. It takes prioritization. It takes sacrifice, and you got to fucking fight for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'll say when you're talking about just everything you just
said that.
So we'll go back to that market analysis that we did with the money that we were supposed to be making within like 6 months. We're well below that number, but we're showing consistent revenue as we progress. But like you're saying, like that's just we're keeping hustling at it, and
you gotta keep going.
And it's you just like you adjust your kind of perspective. Like this is more realistic, the path that we're on.
Right,
but it's just sticking to it. Like you're
stick
saying.
to it.
Yeah,
You just keep fucking, dude. Just keep on fucking it,
and like reward yourself. Like if you realize you've been hard charging at something for quite a bit of time, and it's not. I mean, don't do what I did today and buy a boat, but
no, fuck that.
But at the same token, and
find a friend that bought a boat. You're right. Don't buy a boat. Find a friend that bought a boat.
I think we all just got a boat.
Yeah, we all did just get a boat.
Trucks and boats. Don't buy them yourself. Just find a friend who has them.
Yeah.
But that was a conversation that my wife and I had. Is like, okay, for the last 3 years and 2-3 months that we've been on our property, every weekend we've devoted to working on the property, doing something, whether it's animal related, just maintenance, beautification, making this area that we want, whatever it is. We've been doing that for the last 3 years and some change every weekend. We break away to hang out with y'all and do other stuff with some family, but it's rare. And living where we live makes it easier for us to tell y'all no, because we're an hour or so north.
Yeah, you're definitely a hike.
We get the middle finger a lot.
Yeah.
That's why he's very nice.
We meet
it's two.
Yeah.
He's very generous with the fingers.
But that's what we had talked about is like, can we afford this? Yes. Yeah. Would Dave Ramsey say it's the most financially responsible decision? No, but whatever. I don't care. Like, we want something that we can now, on a weekend where we maybe don't have so much to do, or we can get it done early. Now we have something to go reward ourselves and relax, take a break, and unwind some of that stress. And I mean, that's why we.
Well, and
I feel like that was just a plug to say he bought a new boat.
I bought a boat. I bought a boat.
Boats and shows.
Yeah.
I was mad that I didn't get any fucking hearts or thumbs up on that text. Like, boats and shows is very funny. I tried to spell it hose with an S, but then that just says shoes. I was like, well, that doesn't work. Anyway, no, you're absolutely fucking right. I think I say this to Pam all the time. Pam, to her credit, Pam has saved my life, because prior to meeting Pam, I didn't have a savings account. I was very much like, if I have it, it's I'm going to spend it, right? And fast forward, now it's been 10 years. Now, like, I totally get, like, savings the whole bit. But an argument we have all the time, not an argument, but, like, a debate we have all the time, it's like, we're working our asses off. She works her ass off. She has a very similar schedule as you guys in the forest. And it's like, what's the money for? Like, once you have a comfortable cushion of savings, and once you've contributed your 401k and you've done all the adult shit, right? Like, what's the money for?
Right.
Like, if you're fucking miserable, not my wife, but if I'm saying this generally speaking, is that, like, don't be afraid to dote on yourself. Don't be afraid to let's go, let's do a thing. Let's buy a car. We'll get to that story here briefly. It's actually, we got to wrap this up. We've been here for a while. But But yeah, like I think if you're working your ass off, man, like be responsible for sure. Like don't make Dave and Dave Ramsey. I love him. I have anyway. It's fine. It's a love hate. But yeah, make sure you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And whatever that means for you. You get a massage. We go skeet shooting. Did you tell him how good I was?
He was good. He was good.
I'm good.
There's another one coming up, I think in October.
I know you invited
sent
me.
it to you.
Yeah, let's go.
They didn't, him and Mitch.
No, I think he said yes, and Mitch was like, "Oh, I'm on vacation that week or something."
in the Poconos.
Yeah. We're taking up knitting. I can't.
I'm upset we didn't talk enough shit about him.
No, well, listen, it's the end of the show. We probably could. So I didn't give you a chance to respond, though, to that.
What's that?
I don't remember. Let's move on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna quick fire some shit real quick. Just some fun stuff. So I am gonna play. It's gonna play a little bit to the day job. All right, just real quick. So you're working. Is it coffee or is it energy drinks?
Coffee.
Really? You
Coffee.
came in with the fucking energy drink.
I came in with a sweet tea.
Well, it looked like an energy. Was it by Celsius or whatever the fuck
It
that
was
comes
by Arizona.
All right. Favorite meal while on the job as a police officer? Go.
Oh, I don't know. I got a desk job.
Go back to go all the way back 100 years. No, dude, you were on the streets. What did you eat?
I don't know, something.
Chipotle.
Honestly,
Yeah, you did tell me. You told me Chipotle because you could see what they're putting in it and nobody spits in it.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about.
But then you could say Subway.
Honestly, I'm just thinking about the uniform back on after eating something heavy. It just sounds so miserable. So I'm just gonna say whatever's light that keeps me on.
How heavy is that vest? Or how? Not even the vest. How heavy is all that shit
It's
you're wearing?
obnoxious. It's just
Like
it's
25,
too much.
30 pounds of that, like on total. Like probably 15, 20 pounds. Like everything, if I had to guess.
You get used to it. It's okay, but
Sure. It's like wrecking. Have you ever tased somebody
Yeah.
on the job, not part of training?
No,
Okay,
always.
yes.
Yeah.
Always,
Yeah,
every
always
time.
on the-
You?
yes,
Jeez, get out of here.
both times ineffective. By the way, only twice.
Who's
But
the
using it
funniest
after that.
person at a barbecue when we've hung out?
Mitch at his expense.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's the source of
I'm so
the.
glad.
Yeah, it's
I'm so
Mitchell.
glad you said Mitch. He doesn't mean to be funny. He is very funny though.
Yeah.
Like I do like Mitch. He's very funny. If money wasn't like a factor, dream side hustle. Go.
Owning a brewery, I think.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Good answer.
The fishing charter.
Okay, not on that boat. You need a bigger boat.
Well,
dog.
there's some guys that run them on that one that I got.
You're not gonna make a lot of money. It's a very small boat. Favorite type of wood to work with, Eddie?
Wood to work with,
Yeah.
camphor,
Camphor. Why?
because the smell. So if you ever use Tiger Balm?
Yeah,
on your
yeah.
head, you got to hit it. You
I
know
know
that
what
smell?
camphor is,
That's
yeah.
camphor oil. So the wood, when you're working it,
When you're cranking it?
sanding it, cutting it, all that good stuff, that smell takes over like your shop. Yeah.
I'm gonna say walnut. It's classic. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some walnut to
Yeah.
fix that shit. Chase, this one's for you. Best part of Cops, being on Cops. What was it like?
It was actually pretty stressful.
Yeah, I bet.
Honestly, the best part about Cops is actually getting an episode they would use.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they don't.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I totally get that.
That was the best part. It felt like a victory because I had them for probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we got one usable episode out of all of the calls for service we took.
Yeah.
And not because just because they want start to finish and they're looking for a select certain thing, and so to get what they were looking for I was like, yes, finally.
So the day that you guys were here and we were shooting all that marketing stuff, thank you, by the way. Have you guys been on the website?
Yeah, I saw all of our pictures.
Yeah, there's,
I actually
yeah, but
didn't,
like,
no.
but
But now you just told everybody that we don't actually work for you and all that shit's fake.
nah, it doesn't matter. Nobody's listening.
No, I was wearing a hat. They won't recognize me.
Yeah, you were in the. There's a reason I put you in the back. No. Listen, in the marketing world, A, nobody gives a shit. B, nobody gives a shit, and C,
Everybody knows you're doing it.
Nobody gives a shit. Yep. No, but dude, the amount of pictures I got back, and Kayla would appreciate this, legit for the 2 days, because I did over 2 days. You guys were only part of one. Was like 6,000
Yeah,
pictures.
insane.
And then after I went through each one and was like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, I was down to like 1,800 pictures per day that I was like, yeah, these are usable. And then from there, I used 12. Now, I can use and will use not all 1,500, but or 1,800, whatever. But I'll use a bunch. I had one more here for you. Do your this goes for Rogan, right? Are you okay with me talking about your kid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just want to make sure.
He's the worst.
Yeah. So why is he so no? No, my question was about again is staying.
I'm pretty
with,
sure he scratched your table.
Fucking, I knew it. I knew it. No, but you know what it was? It probably was Ava because I bring in her every day. I'm not blaming you. It's mostly your fault. Does Rogan know what you do during the day?
Yes.
And he loves it.
Yeah. I mean, he's 3 years old, so he's
Sure.
It's got like he looks at police officers and it's exciting.
Sure.
So, the very few times that I come down in uniform, he's just like, "What is happening? What is all this stuff?
are
Like, what is that? Let me see your flashlight."
That's it. Let me see your put the handcuffs on me. Okay, question for both of you guys. Your wives, how does talk to me about that the mental and emotional of that? Because you're married. I know you have a desk job now.
Yeah, no, I'm going to answer that, but I'm going to go back to the Rogan question
Okay, sure,
real quick.
yeah.
Because whenever we're out in public and he sees other police officers, whether we're even like, in a different state, different area, he always sees police officers. He goes, "Dad, are those your guys? Are those your friends?" And I always tell him, "Yeah, buddy. Like,
Yeah,
those
we're
are
all-
those are out.
Yeah,
Those
we're
are
all
my-
one.
those are my
We're
guys."
That's Greg.
We're all one unit.
So he picks up on it. You know,
Yeah,
and he's
that's
like,
very cool.
but I always tell him, I'm like, "Buddy, if you ever need something, like you go to
Those
those
are the
people.
guys.
Go to those people." So I try to like.
I
instill
tell my
that,
kids the same exact thing, but I also tell them don't answer any questions unless I'm around.
I wouldn't either.
I was going like, "There's if Ava's 4. If you ask her, she'd be like, I don't answer any questions unless my dad's here." I was like, "Don't answer fucking shit." Anyways, when with Kayla, like, how do you guys handle that as husbands? Like, I'm sure
Husbands?
you're a husband, yeah.
Yeah, but you said Kayla.
Yeah,
then
but how do
plural.
you handle
Kayla's.
that? With the Kaylas, how do you handle
Yeah.
that as husbands?
Because both of our wives' names are Kayla.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Disclaimer.
In a strange coincidence,
Yeah.
both of their wives' names.
No,
are
mine. It was easy on my front because my father-in-law is in law enforcement. He just retired recently, so she grew up in that world. So she knows, like, I don't want to say the do's and don'ts, but she knows, like, if this would apply more if I actually like worked the street in some other capacity. But like if I came home from work and she's like, "How was your day?" and I was like, "All right, it's good." She knows not to like pick. "Well, what happened?
Don't
What'd you
prep.
do?"
Don't prep. Yeah. Don't prep.
So,
yeah.
and that
yeah.
was that's something that you kind of look for, is you don't want to, you know. So like I have Chase is a good friend. So if I'm dealing with some BS at work that I don't want to talk to her about, I have somebody who's already, his mind's tainted and he's as jacked up as I am, that I can say, "Hey, listen to this crap." You know, whereas I don't want to tell her that because she's still normal and sane. And why would I jade her outlook on because then that's all our household is just jaded opinions of everything. And so I keep her normal. And and like I said, growing up in that, she knows, and she's dealt with it. She's dealt with the shift work, the getting called in on your days off, the getting called in at 2 a.m, which is more so what happens now. You know, the inconvenience of the work that I do now is just getting called in on days off. And when we were there today buying the boat, my phone rang and it was.
Wait, you bought a boat?
I bought a boat. And it's 20 foot, by the way. So
my
it's not
God.
small.
Not 18.
It's not
Huge.
18.
Yeah, it's not
8
not a
foot
pontoon.
wide. Yeah.
Is it considered a pontoon boat?
No.
It's got a
Oh
yacht.
wait, because are those too small for you, Eddie?
No, those are like family. Those are like y'all boats. Like family, take the kids.
y'all boat.
Yeah, y'all boats. Those are y'all boats. So, but case in point, I'm sitting down to talk to the guy and start talking numbers and signing papers. My phone rings. It's some number I don't recognize. I hang it up, and then it just immediately calls back. So I'm like, I should probably answer this. And it's something work related. So then I'm outside on the phone for the next 45 minutes talking to this lady about work stuff. And so it's that she knows, like, she grew up with that. She knows how to deal with
Sure.
it and whatnot. So that
Hopefully,
definitely.
while she was in there, made a good deal, or did they wait for you?
She signed everything by the time I got back in. The guy was like, "It's just you." I'm like, "It's part two."
No, it won't be part 2. It's just like one thing I was going to say about Mitch. And then, like, even
You wrote it
that's
down?
escaping me. No, I didn't write it down because I wanted it to be fresh off the. I wanted it fresh off the log.
Yeah.
You know, I really wanted to shit on
We'll
the dude.
preface this by saying that Mitch is the kind of guy, before we talk and drag him through the mud, heart of gold.
Yeah, the best.
If there is any guy in the world that you need something, no matter what time of day, night, you call him, he's going to come help you.
Yeah, not
He's-
for this podcast, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm just sitting
No,
on
the fact that his last name is Smith tells you everything you need to know about like how genuine. I thought you were going to say
generic
and simple. No, simple. He is as far as he's exactly the type of person you would expect a Smith to be.
Yeah.
On time, hospitable, super gracious, generous, and dumb. To Smith.
I thought we were talking shit. Like,
No, wait for it. But you gotta lift him up.
Yeah.
You gotta lift him up, and then you know.
And we
spike
do
it
this
down.
while he's not here.
Yeah.
So that way
we
when
do
he
it.
is.
No, I'll do it to his face.
No. I'm saying give him the graces while he's not
You gotta
here.
lift him up, and then you slam him down. Here's what's funny about Mitch is that like I'm pumped that he can just have a cigar and a whiskey or whatever the fuck he's drinking
At 1:30 in the afternoon.
At 1:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. Mitch, good for you. How are they eating SpaghettiOs all fucking day? Like what do Mary? I've seen your house. Their house is actually nice. It's cute. It's warm in there. It's cozy. He's always building a thing.
Without permits.
They're always updating and they're always reinventing, and that's great. How is that happening? There's no way. She's definitely selling. Have you seen her feet? They're definitely selling her feet pics or something.
I don't know to who though, because that's
Dude, there's some weird people. Dude, you
that
know,
middle toe.
I don't want to shit on his wife. I want to shit on Mitch. My point is that how is he able to, how do you think, or do you know how they're able to vacation as much as they do?
I think because they've been married for, you know this better than I do. How long?
Since I think 2014. But no, 20.
No, it's been longer.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to think. When did you start at Carrabba's?
It would have been 2010-ish.
Okay, so it's 2010, 2011. They've been married.
I think
Within that, give or plus a year.
Yeah.
I think early on they learned how to live within their means, and they stay that way
Yeah.
and celebrate with, you know, the timeshare, the vacate, whatever, which is great. But so I think they learned, like you said before, Aldi. You know, who
Aldi,
says you got to
just
grocery
keep that
shop
quarter.
at Publix?
Yeah, Mary's been in Aldi for the past like 10 years, and I've shit on her for the past
And it's
9.
Have you ever been to Aldi's?
That's all we do. We shop at Aldi.
You do?
Yeah.
I fucking hate it.
Really?
Not a fan.
All right. See, how many times have you gone there, though? Because the first couple times we went there,
like
we're
three-
like, this place sucks. I don't
Yeah,
want this.
like 3 to
you're-
4 times.
You get so accustomed to Publix.
There's a couple of things I'll get there.
Shopping should be a fucking pleasure.
Yeah, I won't get meat
Yeah.
from Aldi.
No,
I
I
won't.
won't get meat from
We'll
fucking
go,
Publix.
We'll go to Publix, and then we'll go to we'll go to Aldi, then we'll go to Publix to get like the odds and ends that we
So
just
Aldi meat's
exclusively
good,
buy,
is what you're saying.
Aldi meat?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll buy their ground beef.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you find like a good like roast or flank steak or whatever they have to offer, but it's
Yeah.
not consistent. Although Publix hasn't really been consistent either.
No,
So.
Publix is like,
Yeah. I'm a Winn-Dixie meat guy. If I'm going to a
True
grocery
story?
store, Winn-Dixie.
why Winn-Dixie?
I mean, I worked there.
Okay, so you just yeah. Well, when was that?
Bias. High school.
Yeah, dude, that was like forever ago.
Yeah.
You didn't touch on that in his background.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was-
he told us about fucking AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts.
Yeah. Winn-Dixie, lifeguard,
Yeah.
cop.
Lifeguard.
I was a lifeguard.
Nice.
Yeah. Four summers.
You don't seem like a guy that swims well.
I love the water.
You do.
Yeah, swim
That's
very
why you got
well.
a boat.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Boat.
Back to Mitch.
Piece of shit.
Fucking sour ass son of a bitch. No, one thing I was going to name the show 2.5 Cops because I thought it was funny. and I just wanted. It's not as rich if he's not here to see his reaction to that comment, but hopefully, you know, he sees it.
That's how him and I met, was the police academy. We were in the same one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since he's not here to defend himself, what happened? Do you know what touch it? That's all right. We'll move on. Yeah. All right. We're going to cut that out. Then that's really all that I had. Fun stuff. Like, I just to close it out, I think that you guys, us, even Mitch, are proof that anything's possible. You can change your trajectory and career, and you can take some risks, and you should take some fucking risks. And I think that I hope that whether it's the inspection thing, dude, or whatever, Nest is crushing. I think by like, you can't really put a timetable on it, but I think 12 months in, good, and you're close. December is when you guys start launched, right? So like, I would say reconnect yourself to something, because while Nest is you're not Nest. You're the type of dude that needs the thing. So find your thing. And whether that's the inspection thing or you just want to, like I said, reinvent yourself, just say
tell Kayla that because I always tell her like we got to do something else. I need something else.
Say
Like,
yes to your-
Nest is on its way. I'm like,
Yeah.
what else can we do? She's like, just slow down.
Slow it down. I said 12 months. Yeah, no, that's about. So we were in July. We're in July, right? So what is that? So that's August, September, October, November, December. So 5 more months.
You got to get the ideas rolling though.
Yeah. No, never stop. Hey, never stop, never stopping. All right. And then same thing for you with the making the. I think there's something there with the meat thing.
There could be.
I think there could be. And you know what, dude? It may not be the wood thing.
Yeah.
You know, right now you're putting all these eggs in this wood thing basket, but you said something that was like really, I think, really impactful, which is like you love doing it and you don't want to not love doing it.
Yeah.
So that might be your body saying, "Hey, dude, hobby," and that's cool. And if you sell a couple of fucking shit to me or whomever, sweet.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's like, yo, you're
Even
putting
if they scratch
all-
this table.
Even
yeah,
if they scratch.
no, it's fine. Eddie's gonna fix that. You know what I'm saying? But you're putting all this effort. It sounds like you're putting way more time and energy and effort and money and capital into the farm side, the pig side of things. Recoup some of that shit. So like, it might be, hey, dude, I love this shit. Pivot.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to pivot. And I think that's kind of like the message, man. It's like, if you do something. If you have an idea, vet it. Get some market research done. You know, look into it. Be an expert in it, or at least enough to fool some people. And then definitely just say yes and try that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Sweet. I appreciate you guys fucking being here, man.
This is awesome.
Happy to be here.
I get so fucking
Yeah,
bad.
me too.
Same.
I've had to forever.
Same time?
Yeah.
Dude, you want to cross streams?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. All right,
End it with
see
the
ya.
crank.
We'll see you guys on the next one.